The end of the day approaches, but not before our final talk. Welcome back, folks. We have a big banger for you. But before we get into that, just one final reminder to everyone. This will be your last warning about it. If you want to have a chance of getting your hands on some free ebooks via Packet Company, you need to be rating these sessions. You need to be leaving comments, and you definitely should get your questions ready for Sanjay because he's closing out the day with something that has been a hot topic the last two. Sanjay is here to talk to us about ChatGPT.
Thank you so much. Yeah, great to have you all here. Today we are talking about ChatGPT, and I'll be talking not only about the prompts as everybody else, but I'm talking about the strategic importance of ChatGPT. And one of the main things that we should know of this development is that the challenge of digitization lies not in technology, but in empowering people to think and act in complex ways. And ChatGPT is just a start of a complete change in our world. And many people are afraid of ChatGPT, are afraid of artificial intelligence, and are wondering what is happening around their business, especially in our business, in marketing. ChatGPT has a great impact on that. So, for that, we just have to understand one thing: it is not technology that will replace companies or people and their work, but companies and people who continue to learn and use the latest technologies will just simply overtake those who don't. And that means that it is in our hands, it's in your hand, in my hand, what will happen with our marketing efforts, with our marketing knowledge, and everything that is connected with the future of our business in marketing. So if we look at the expectations that people have and they look into the world, is we have been educated in school, we have been educated at universities to have a very linear approach, a very incremental thinking that has been taught to us for the last decades, hundreds of years. And we know when we come to the fifth class, sixth class, seventh class, and Abitur, or we do our studies at the university, our whole life seems to be incrementally planned. The problem is that the reality is not. The reality is exponential. And Corona and COVID, they just showed us how fast things can change. And if you are watching the news, then you know that US Bank has collapsed, and US Bank collapses, and suddenly there is exponential change in the world. So if we start rethinking what is happening in ChatGPT times, we have to make sure that it is multiple exponential thinking that we need, because we are fighting a lot of wars. It is not only COVID, it's energy, it's uh, basically nearly a war. We have food, climate, and more to come. So everything is becoming more complex and we have to react on it. And ChatGPT is just moving this complexity faster into the mass media, faster into the people, faster into the market. And it's up to us to understand how to cope with it. So, what I have seen is that there is a rise of technologies like AI, and virtual reality is coming, 3D printing is coming, it's coming more and more stuff at the nearly same time. And for me, it was very important that I started structuring this stuff. And what I did was I have developed a circle of excellence. It is called Transruption. I developed it at the MIT. And this circle shows all the key technologies that are going to impact our customer and also raise his demands towards us. So it's not only digital marketing, it's sustainability, it is drone technology, it is artificial intelligence, like today, ChatGPT. And if you look at AI just as one of the pieces of the puzzle, then we already have 100 top AI companies on the market, and they are already doing their job. So ChatGPT is not something new. It is just so strangely new because if we do our normal thinking, then we discover that the world is moving at a much faster pace. So if you look at the speed, how the changes are happening in 2010, in the stone age of marketing, everybody said big fish eats small fish. And then in the Middle Ages, economic change, Klaus Schwab said it's the fast fish which eats the slow fish. And then came 2018, disruption. Disruption means many small startups start attacking a company. And what really happens then is we see disruption. This disruption, just an example, this is FedEx. You may know FedEx. And I was invited to their board meeting. And at FedEx, everybody said, oh, we don't have to worry. The world is not changing that fast. And DHL, our competitor, all is good. So we don't need to take care of. And then I did a research as the director of the European Internet Marketing Institute in Mannheim, Germany. I did a research and found out that these are the startups which are attacking FedEx, and not on the FedEx level, but on the screenshot you can see that's their website, and they're attacking them in niches. And this niche attack, that is the dangerous stuff, because that makes a company vulnerable, and a company can be killed by this stuff. Now, this disruption is not only happening in logistics, it is also happening in marketing. What we see here are the top 10 freelance websites: Upwork, Guru, Fiverr, Freelancer. These are all companies who have understood that the final customer, the CEO of a small or medium sized company, needs to have cheap, accessible, and a relatively good quality service in marketing. And here they find them. And if you have seen, you can get everything there on Fiverr, for example. You can get the SEO, you can get contextual backlinks, you can get niche edits, you can get SEO optimization, all that stuff for a very cheap price. Because if you look at the price, it's $86 for the whole SEO and for a lot of backlinks. So we as marketers have to understand that our business is being disrupted by these smaller companies or even freelancers. But that is all before ChatGPT happens. We have to see where ChatGPT has brought us to. So in 2020, transformation happened. Transformation meant that while we are being hunted by all these small uh, entrepreneurs, I call them piranhas, and these piranhas, and we are running away from them, there comes a big shark from the other side, because big agencies have seen that there is a big chance of earning a lot of money, and these are the top upcoming agencies. If you have heard about them: Hudson, Black Bear, Union, eHouse, Nice and Serious. These are really big agencies, and they are the big sharks. And they were very promising till the end of 2022. Because in 2023, something happened: the rise of technologies. So while we are being hunted from piranhas and being attacked by big sharks, something happened. The robots have come to the market, and they changed the whole gameplay. And this change means we are all caught. They threw out their fishing nets and have conquered us. And now the question will be, what is the future of digital marketing, and what role does ChatGPT play in this new era of digital marketing? I call it digital marketing 4.0. because ChatGPT has the newest version, and that is 4.0, and that is the base, the starting point where the world starts changing. So it's no secret that ChatGPT has taken over the world by storm, and its popularity continues, and it is in the news. Students, pupils are using it for their homework, and teachers are frustrated. Even small companies have started thinking about what are they going to do with ChatGPT, and that has many big implications on marketing, because imagine a robot being the chief marketing officer of a company. And that is exactly what is happening. At the moment, what we are seeing is the stone age of chat robots, of language modeling. Because at the moment, ChatGPT is just predicting words in a blank. So, what ChatGPT technically does is it takes a prompt, a question, or a wish from a human being, and then creates an answer and predicts word by word what is the highest chance of a fitting word to fill in the blank. So basically, ChatGPT is predictive text. That is the absolute definition. And if you look at how it is made of, it is predictive text. That's why it can also create stuff that is not true just because it is predicting stuff. And that is why I always recommend always use human view in the final. And if may in 10 years somebody watched this video, he may laugh at me and say Sanjay did a great job at that time, but today we don't even rely on human review. Today we can rely on the AI and ChatGPT completely without any fact checking, because these are functions that will come. So at the moment, I wouldn't publish anything without a human review, but it may change in the future. And as everything is evolving exponentially, we should be sure that we are always up to date about what is happening in this field so that we do not lose contact. So, what does ChatGPT, what can it do? Now, it can do a lot of things in different departments. So, in customer service, for example, it could you could integrate it into the workflow. And when I talk about how can we profit from ChatGPT, there are two ways. One is how can we improve our internal processes in the agency, or as a freelancer, how can we optimize the customer service, as you're seeing here, with new tools? And the second part is how can we use ChatGPT to please the wishes of our customers? So there is an internal part and an external part to understand how we can implement ChatGPT in the right way. So you can train ChatGPT to common customer questions and problems. And I did my studies at IBM on artificial intelligence, and what I learned there was very helpful for my academy, because 92% of all the questions that my students and everybody else ask me are already answered there, and a chat GPT like system, it does my customer support. So it saves me a lot of time so that I can be here with you instead of just sitting there and answering questions. And it also helped me to keep my budget for expenditure for workers very low. So you can monitor a lot of stuff. I've given you 5 points. Please, if you're interested in the presentation, just send me an email and I'll send you the whole presentation for detail. But it's not only customer service, it also goes to marketing. You can use ChatGPT to create personalized marketing messages. You can integrate it into social networks. You can use it to translate marketing material. You can even train ChatGPT for an industry and special target groups. So this is a learning system. It is different than human beings. Many human beings have, so sadly, I have to admit that, but many human beings have stopped learning. And normally at such a conference, there should be 100 million people watching it because it is something so important for the society. And that's why people are not learning. And those who are learning, like you, congratulations, you are the future. So what you can also do is you can use ChatGPT to analyze and optimize marketing campaigns. And of course, again, the inside view, you can use it for your own product management. You can use it to create product description, feature lists. I have a customer where we are now optimizing all the Amazon store stuff they have through the ChatGPT. And you can monitor competitors, especially now through the new version of ChatGPT. It is possible to monitor your competition because you have internet access included in it. Then you can train ChatGPT to technical product and you can generate ideas and concepts. Don't worry, I'll show you some examples soon so that you get a real view how fast this works. And it helps in human resource. So, it can automate application processing. It can solve problems in the recruiting process. It can conduct on-site interviews and applicant evaluation. So you don't need staff for that. The most intelligent thing that you can do now in this time, in this world of AI, is to give your staff, if you have staff, give your staff more intelligent work and let ChatGPT do all the work. For that, you do not need brains. Okay? So if it is something very extremely creative, this is what you should do with your staff. Something that is strategic, do it with your staff, but all the idiotic work, like let's fill out an Excel sheet and make some calculations, this is something that you should leave to ChatGPT. So you can even monitor labor laws and regulations, company specific requirements, and you can even develop your company culture with ChatGPT. So let's summarize the first part. The first part is we have a lot of benefits for businesses. The first, it is time saving because it can perform repetitive tasks such as answering customer queries, translating documents, data analysis, all that stuff. And it is cost saving because it can carry out many tasks automatically at the same time at a very low price. So even if you have a pro account, a professional, it is really, it doesn't cost you anything. And it is very accurate. So because ChatGPT has a lot of data that it has analyzed, it can really provide fast and accurate answers to your questions. And for especially if you are a small entrepreneur, a one-man, two-man company, you can easily adapt it to increase in demand and make it perfectly useful for growing your business. And ChatGPT, if you have a professional account, is 24/7 available. So customers and employees have access to information, and it is a personalized interaction. You can create individual recommendations and offers and support your customer tasks. So, what I have introduced in some of the companies I coach is that they sit there and they have ChatGPT 24 hours on their desktop in their browser that's always open. So whenever they have a customer who is calling, they're talking to him, and at the same time, they're using ChatGPT to answer all the questions. Now imagine what quality they would have and how they will overrun and override their competition, who is still sitting there, and there's an engineer who said, oh, I have to look up and all that stuff. And it has even went so far that because of the whole data collection and analysis, ChatGPT is a great danger for even Google. So Google has sent out a code red and said, hey, we have to be careful of what is really happening, and we have to be sure that everything that is being done here is uh, aligned to the new developments of AI. And you will see that Apple, Amazon, Google, eBay, all these companies are now rushing to implement AI in them. So that's why it is important that we, you and me, really understand the importance of ChatGPT. Compare ChatGPT to electricity, and imagine how it must have been for the people in the 18th, 19th century, when the first time they got a bulb in their room and then light was there. They must have been fascinated and shocked. And this is exactly what ChatGPT is for marketing. We are fascinated and shocked by all the possibilities. So, what I want to do is, I would like to go to OpenAI with you and just test some stuff so that you see how and what we can really do with it. And it's amazing. There's a step by step procedure. So, you have to go to ChatGPT, to this address that I showed you, and then you log in, and then you have choices, and then there is a little chat button at the bottom. There you put in your query, and then you get answers to that. So what I want to do is, I would like to stop the presentation now and share my other screen, where I would love to go with you and show you how it works. So this is the ChatGPT place, and here is where everything happens. So uh, what you can now do is look at your daily tasks. So whenever you have a question, I do not go to Google anymore. The only thing I do is I create here a new chat, and then I type in, for example, list 12 main points. Let me see if I can get it a little bit bigger. Yeah. So list 12 main points that are the most important to marketers acquiring new customers. And then I just enter, and now what you're seeing, then I have to change the language. That was nice. I have to I'm from Germany, so um yeah, that's why I had the answer in German. And now here is the answer. So what he's doing now is already creating the 12 main points that are important. And these 12 points you can just copy paste. Be aware, it could be biased. It could be that there is some plagiarism in it. So what we should do is, at the end, always tell ChatGPT, please be plagiarism free. So if you have kids and they're using ChatGPT for their school education or university, then this is the biggest secret prompt you could ever use, because making it plagiarism free says that now he's going to write it again, but now he's going to take care that all the stuff is okay, and everything that we are doing there is now plagiarism free. You could take this and put it into your blog, and you have a blog post. Imagine how fast this could be. So, for example, you want to have a social media calendar. Okay, so what you could do is, you could just go in and tell him, craft a 1 month social media campaign for our product, and then it could be a product, could be, let's say, garden fence, okay, with the goal to, and then here we can even tell him what the goal should be, the with the goal that people buy more of our stuff, and mention the relevant channels to focus. So the art of ChatGPT is, if you ask the wrong questions, you will get wrong answers or idiotic answers. So it is also improving our communication skills as a human being, because suddenly we have to do one thing that many people have stopped doing: thinking before talking. And here it's very important, because if you just type in blah 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 blah, you will get blah 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 as a result. So first we have to think and talk to him. So what I'm doing here now, he's creating now, here is a complete month's marketing plan for social media. And he's also giving us really step by step: share a post on Instagram, share a post on Twitter, featuring customer testimonials and all this stuff. This is exciting, ladies and gentlemen. This is something that has crushed the world, because now an 8-year-old boy can do the stuff normally only expert could do it. So, and then if you want really deep insight from ChatGPT, then do one thing: tell him that he is doing your job. So, how do we do that? It's very easy. You just tell ChatGPT, you are the chief marketing officer of a gardening center. Please, I'm always kind also with artificial intelligence, because one day they may become stronger and may rule the world, and then they might remember my kindness. Okay, just for those who know Terminator. So you are the CMO of a gardening center. Please develop um, an outline for a campaign in Facebook. So, and now he's exactly making a complete campaign with an objective, with a target audience, with a campaign strategy, sharing tips on successful gardening, week 2, showcase all this stuff. And you're seeing the speed. I mean, if we were now sitting in a company and we would be sitting with the CEO, then the CEO would be asking us, why are we taking so much time if we do it the traditional way? You see here, he has also developed a complete content plan, and basically my hands are doing nothing. So this is AI. This is the future of everything that has to do with our marketing business. So what we need to understand is that there will be companies who will not use this. They will still charge very heavy prices for their per hour to their customers. And then there will be now 12, 13, 14-year-old boys and girls who will be offering the same service with an artificial intelligence and overtaking us, because they will be offering this for half of the price, because they don't have all the stuff that we have created in the last 30, 40 years around our business. They will start from scratch. They have no expenditure. Okay, they have to pay ChatGPT or OpenAI $10 a month. Okay. But imagine you would have had this tool 30 years before. How would you have revolutionized this industry? And this is the chance we have. Here is exactly the possibility how we can really win in the market. So if you are not writing, maybe you are not a blogger, but you're a podcaster. Then you can just say to him, write a script for a podcast episode discussing, yeah, let's say artificial intelligence, or let's do something else. Pet, let's say dog house sitting, okay? Because artificial intelligence, okay, it's a topic, but here on dog house sitting, a podcast. So what he's doing here now, he's creating the stuff that you can just read off, and your podcast is ready. And you have the questions, and you haven't even have the answers. So if you're doing an interview with someone, you would also send him the whole stuff. You see, our expert, there's Lisa, is sharing the insights on why dog house sitting might be the best option for your pet. And it's making it completely ready. So in, let's say, 1 or 2 minutes, you have a complete script. And this is the intelligent part. It is doing the job and telling us how we can do our job better. And that is something that is really, really valuable. And if you're interested in the prompts, you are seeing I have templates. I could also give you some stuff about that. So now what we were doing is we were just asking a question. And what you could, of course, do is you can start a conversation. So what I would do is then I would start a new chat and then say, you are a marketing expert. I will ask you questions and you help me to solve them in the best way. My first question is, where do we get the budget from? Okay. And now, never forget, ChatGPT is not a tool where you decide that your prompt has to be perfect. This is wherever I go, I hear that always. Oh, you have to improve your prompts, your prompts. Forget that. You don't need to improve your prompts. What you have to understand is that it is a chat bot. That means now, after reading his answer, and that makes it so unique, after reading his answer, so overall, it's important to have a clear understanding of your business model. So then you can ask him further questions. For example, how do I define my business goals? It's not about finding the perfect prompt and you get an answer. It is about talking to ChatGPT like a friend and then asking further questions and developing a conversation with ChatGPT. And this is the real power of ChatGPT because it's going to help you and give you insights, and you can dig deeper, and dig deeper until you have the solution that you need. And the interesting part is why I do not use Google so often anymore is I used to type in a keyword, and then the keyword would answer websites in the SERPs, and then I would have to find out the right answer somewhere. Here, I get a direct answer. So if I'm again, I need to ask him something, then I would like to, you can create a roadmap. Okay, can you please, remember, be kind, um, create my road map. So, so now it is very interesting. When you reach a point where he's not sure what he should give you, he will give you something like a general guideline. If I would tell him, I can stop generating. If I would tell him his, please give me a road map for a car dealer, then now he would create a roadmap for a car dealer. Now imagine what that really means if your customers suddenly discover ChatGPT and understand the way it works, understands the implication for your business, for marketing, that means that now we are in a deep, deep system where other people will be attacking us, disruption, as I told you. And of course, it will also connect with websites. That means that if you maybe be offering a blogging service or SEO service, here you see the prompt could be generate a meta description of a maximum of 150 characters for a fan page, for a web page. And then the great part is you can just go onto any website. Okay, so what we could do is we could go to Bosch. Okay, this would be Bosch here. I'm just taking the URL of Bosch, and now I'm printing it into the prompt. And now he's going to write me a meta description. And a very good one, basically, because it is exciting, it is engaging, and I didn't have to understand anything about SEO. I just need to know that this tool is going to do the work for me. And this is something that will impact our industry because we'll have to start developing new products, new services, which ChatGPT doesn't solve. And the next level of all this is that you connect ChatGPT with other services. For example, you can connect it with your Gmail. And when you want to answer an email, you just click on ChatGPT and there is the answer in your email. Save time. One of the biggest things in this world, which I'm always shocked about, is that 1/3 of our life we spend at work. It's 8 hours a day from 24. And 1/3 we just sleep away. So from a full life, we may have 1/3 of time for enjoyment. And I think if you would use this in the right way, we would be able to gain more time. And the third part that you can do with ChatGPT is you can start using it for data analysis. And that's very interesting because you can combine it with Excel. You can combine it with the Google Docs. So what I want to do is I will just hear what are the key market segments in the X industry, in the DIY industry, and which one represents the biggest opportunity for our company. You see, I have some templates here that have helped me very much, and then I just click on here, and then now he's preparing all the stuff. Okay, so also a market analysis for any industry on this planet is done in seconds. And this is amazing and shocking at the same time. But we should still not worry about it. As I told you, this technology is not going to replace your job. Those companies using this technology will replace companies who don't use this technology and do not understand how these things work together. Now, what you also could do is you could also ask him to create a picture, to help you create a picture. For example, you could say, please describe me a girl sitting on a chair in a yard, and please make the prompt for, yeah, you could use Dolly or Mid Journey. So now what he's doing is he is now creating a prompt for Mid Journey. Mid Journey is a artificial intelligence for creating pictures. And what you now could do is you can just copy paste this into Midjourney or DALL-E, and it will create a unique picture. Now imagine the power of that. So if you are still using Adobe stock, it may be nice and cool, but you don't get the exact picture that you want. This is only done with ChatGPT and Midjourney or DALL-E and many, many things coming up more again. So I just wanted to show you that the power of this stuff is a really, really great knowledge on how to ask the right questions and also to use it in combination with other stuff. So it can, one of the things that I always like to do is I have my target group, and then I just type into ChatGPT. Every morning I do that. What problems do, in this case, I'm doing it for a customer who has dog food, and I ask every morning, what problems do dog owners have? And the interesting part is that if I ask the question twice, it will not be the same. So every morning for my customer, I get new ideas, and then I send him an email and tell him, listen, I have an idea for you. Should we start a campaign? Should we do this and that? How can we make your store with dog food more exciting? How can we make your dog place more beautiful? So the interesting part of all this stuff is also that you can also generate table. You can generate a table. For example, create a table. So create a first column and write all European countries into that. In the second column, write the number of people who live there. Okay, so what he's going to do now, he's going to create it. And this is the stuff we get. Isn't that cool? Okay, you see, as of 2021, the data of ChatGPT is from 2021, but it's only a question of time when it will be updated. And you see that you have access suddenly to every kind of data, and you can present it in a very beautiful way. And of course, the problem is you can't just copy paste it somewhere. So that's why at the end, what I always recommend is that when he has stopped generating this stuff, that you just tell him, export it, please, into, I can just stop generating and show you that I would have done with this here in a different way. So here is the prompt, and I would use the prompt in that way that I would tell him, please write in CSV with a semicolon as divider. So now he's going to do that again. And now you see the delimiter. And now you see, you can just get it. You can just copy the code, create a CSV file, open your Excel, and you're done. And that is really excitingly cool, because in the first time of history, we have really access to interactive knowledge. You know, we had Wikipedia, but that's not interactive. That was just knowledge. ChatGPT makes us so strong as human beings that we are now capable of interactive, really interactive knowledge. And you see here, yeah, there's the header row, and you can just copy paste this here, copy code. Basically, it can program everything. I'm working with another company, and they have an older PHP programming. Their website is programmed on an older PHP version. And what we just said to ChatGPT is, please go onto our website, look at all the content, and please update the PHP code. And it took, I think, 4 hours, and the whole website had been updated to the newest PHP version. So everything that is concerned with programming, it can do it better than any one of us. And sometimes even in a shorter code, because we human beings sometimes think differently. But this works very well. So I'm going to shift now again back to my presentation after you have seen what possibilities are there. I would like to continue to show you, and in the presentation you see there are the definition, where's the prompt. You can also buy extensions now, and the most important thing is how to use ChatGPT. So many companies have been writing to me and said, Sanjay, you are dealing so much with ChatGPT. Can you help us find the right people? And this is exactly what is happening in Europe. The tech's hottest new job is an AI whisperer. So no coding required. Tech companies are looking for AI whisperers, and maybe this is something for you. And if you want, you can learn how to become a certified AI whisperer, because I offer courses on that and can show you much more. I'll show you some stuff more here in the presentation. For example, you can create FAQs, which is a very exciting stuff. You just tell him, write me an FAQ, and then zack, it's there. Then you can use it to write code. Or you send him here. I sent him and said, write a bio about Jeff Bezos. So it went on the Google search, and that's very interesting. What you can always do is you just search on Google, take the complete URL, and tell ChatGPT to summarize it or to get the best answers. So you're now connected with the internet. Or if you're creative, you can have some lyrics. Okay, write me a country song where I get my spouse, dog, and truck back. It's funny, but it's nice. There's even a verse, a chorus, and a second verse, or poetry. Yeah, about losing my job to ChatGPT. Job gone, future unclear, thoughts and fears, all I hear. Hope and strength I must find to leave this job lost behind. A new path I must pave. With determination, I'll be brave. This setback, a chance to grow, to find a new career to know. Welcome to the new world of ChatGPT. This is exactly your job. Your job description is going to change. Your job will not be create a SEO campaign. This also means that our educational system is going to have to change. Because if you ask a 10-year-old boy or girl, please write an essay on Alexander the Great, this takes 30 seconds on ChatGPT. We'll have to change the education. We'll have to change the questions we are asking. We'll have to change and adapt very quickly. And those who are the winners, they understand how this works. So when you give ChatGPT prompts, give a good context. Tell him you are in this industry. Be clear, be concise, be specific, be descriptive. Define a format. You saw I wanted a table, or you could have said, write it to me in HTML format. Define the length, define the style. You can tell him about styles. I'm going to show you more so that you see how that really works. So here are 100 best ChatGPT prompts. If you want, they're all with a link in my presentation. You can just click on them and you will find a lot of stuff. The only thing you have to know is that machine learning has hallucinations. That means it is known that it can create or is making stuff up. So be critical about that, okay? So making domain experts out of dilettantes is a very interesting article. The thing is that ChatGPT has no verification of the knowledge. So the nice thing is, use it in your industry as an industry expert, and then check what ChatGPT is giving you, but it is saving you time because you don't need to think about it. CNET, you may know, that is reviewing the accuracy of all its AI written articles after major corrections. So never forget, ChatGPT is not a single search engine. It has no fact-checking functions, and it is still trained on 2021, but the data will be updated. And what I would recommend is that you get some, to make your prompts better, some extensions. One of them is AIPRM. It's a Google Chrome extension, and it will help you to develop the better prompts. And if you're a little bit in reading books and all that stuff, you can always ask ChatGPT to write in a style of Stephen King, of George Orwell, of Karl Marx, and make stuff funny, interesting, and giving you ideas, giving you inspiration. Or you can say it should do something complicated, scientific, relaxed, dramatic, secretive. So these are all the stuff that they can deal. And what I would also recommend is, before you use ChatGPT to create a blog post, which is very easy to do, you should always check it with a plagiarism checker. And even if you tell him that it should not use plagiarism, I would always check it, especially if you're a student here and you are planning to write your master thesis with that. So I've added some more slides here on for you to experiment on it. And you can also, of course, use languages. So generate 5 different German language page titles, or Italian, French, anyone, anything you want. Then what problems do have, this is a very good job in the morning. And you see here, make what are the most common mistakes, sort the following keywords in a cluster, FAQ, write me 300 words and give me academic resources. That is very good, because you can also have the academic citation like at university too, but don't tell it to your kids. Okay. So I've given you some of this, and the next development is that there is Slides GPT. So if you ever need to create a slide deck, then just ask Slides GPT. That is the follow up of ChatGPT. And what I did is I used it, of course. And I just told him that it should give me some potential applications of ChatGPT in a PowerPoint slide. And this is what it made up. And it told me this: chatbots, text generation, text completion, text summarization, language translation, content creation, information retrieval, and sentiment analysis. Wow. In earlier days, it would have taken me days of thoughts and then in creating such a stuff. This is made by an AI. And this is going to happen more and more. So AI is not only text, it is visuals. It is going to enter everything that we do with Word, with documents, with Google, with anything on our mobile phone, with TikTok, everything. So I told him the next slide was how to use ChatGPT in marketing. And these are the applications that created. So please use them. You can get them from my side. I'm always free to give it away. And also our open AI in e-commerce and limitations, of course. And look how beautiful it has been made up. These are ready-made slides. Okay, a little bit too much text, but that was because I asked him to write as much as possible. I'm also experimenting on what possibilities do we have. So the future role of ChatGPT, the open AI, it will get more accuracy, it will be more adaptable, better speed, precise use cases, and compatible with other technologies, and of course, security and privacy. So after 25 years of coaching and helping marketers like you to succeed in their business, and helping small and medium-sized businesses as well as big corporates in the world, my only learning, and this is what I would like to give to you for today, the only way to win in the digital world is through lifelong learning. And now it has become exponentially fast. So we have to reserve time, more time, to learn together and profit together It's not the only fight we have with each other, but we have to also have to understand that these technologies are going to take over, and small people, small young people may enter the market at scale. So the only way to survive is to unite. That is always my main mantra. I like to work with you, together with you in your country, and let us start a revolution of ChatGPT. If you want and you like this presentation, maybe we could do such a presentation for your customers in your name. That this is how we work. This is how my academy works. What we do is we enhance it with our transruption strategy, and we inspire more new customers from day one of our partnership. So if you want that your customers understand this, just talk to me. Let us join hands, and let's put ChatGPT into the focus. Don't be afraid. You won't lose your job. You will get more credibility with the customers, and also tell them what job and what things you want to do still manually and why, but they will see that you are the person who is educating them on Chat GPT and the implications it has on our industry. Thank you so much. I am through with my presentation, and now I'm excited to hear what questions you have and what is on your mind. How did you experience ChatGPT? And you have maybe also your own experiences to share. I'm here for you now. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you for the organizers of the Digital Marketing Conference that they made this possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Sanjay. Definitely a very educational hour, I think we went for. And that means we've got plenty of time left, as it is the end of the day, to get all the questions in. I do see a bunch of people come through with questions. I just wanted to open up with one talking about the capacity. So every time Sam was saying, every time I go to ChatGPT, it is at capacity. What is the easiest way to get started with AI? And is it basically a case of with most of these? I think they offer a premium model, if I'm not mistaken. Is that usually the way to go if you run into capacity?
Yes, exactly. The problem is that, of course, OpenAI, the company behind ChatGPT, also needs to earn money because they have been investing a lot of money, and now they have a professional version. And with the professional version, I have always access with the professional version. I never had any problem with that. So it's a little bit of money, but it is worth it. This is why I was telling about in the presentation that it's really worth it. And we have to understand this because all the future developments that are going to come will be based on this technology, like electricity. It changed everything in the future of human beings.
Now, the interesting thing to me is how quickly everything's evolving in that regard. I was thinking like about this on the AI side. I think I mentioned it yesterday in one of our talks. It has some parallels to what happened when the internet really started to rocket, right? When you saw media everywhere, copyright issues, DMCA, all this type of stuff. Something that we're still actually not fully caught up even now, right? It's kind of crazy to think about. How do you see the next few years going in that regard? Because I noticed a lot of people asking about things like copyright, ownership, these type of things. Are companies like ChatGPT liable when they have these subscription models? Do you see governments and countries and legal systems getting more involved in that process? Or do you think it's going to be quite a chaotic and kind of gray area for quite a long time yet?
Yeah, the thing is that it reminds me of the TikTok CEO who was interviewed by
Ah, yes.
some people from the US, and the problem is that those people who are making our laws are not coping with the recent changes, and I think that it will take ages till they come back, because even the internet laws are not globally united. So it may be that some countries even ban ChatGPT, but they'll be, they'll get injured economically
Mm.
by doing this because their industries will not rise. They'll be overtaken by others who are using all these technologies. So what I would always, to the legal stuff, the thing is that if you get the pro version,
Mhm.
then if you are not working for a company that has a profit of $1 million per year, then all these texts, everything that is created is copyright free for you.
Oh,
And if you have an annual return of more than a million, then you have to get the super pro version. But that's also not very expensive. I think it's $49 a month. And then you are completely secure. Because the thing is, ChatGPT is not copying, it
mm,
is recreating. So imagine that you have five websites and he takes the first word from website A, the second from B, the
got it.
third from C, and the text created is not copyrightable. For students, it is very important because universities use these plagiarism checkers that I also mentioned in the speech, because you can find out if a text has been written by an AI, but not plagiarism. It has been written by an AI.
Mm,
So there are some tricks for those who want to know it. It's very easy. You take the output of ChatGPT, put it into Quillbot, that is a rewriting engine, export it and translate it into German, and then use DeepL, translate it back into English, and then you're ready to go.
okay. Interesting. Just to the previous point you made there around the premium, super premium model, I guess my thought is, when you start to see these overlaps where you mentioned that it kind of, instead of it copying, it samples different areas, it creates something unique. There are areas where that's more problematic. I think one big area that's been discussed a lot is around programming, right? Certain coding solutions, companies will have that trademark, they'll have that copyrighted, and there's no clean way around that, right? I think there was a big controversy around certain AIs on GitHub
Yeah.
yoinking big chunks of code, and the kind of backlash that has. I guess, with those type of elements where it's almost unavoidable, one big thing I think is on everyone's mind is, would they be liable then using that code, or does the buck stop at the AI providers, right? Because it's their system that essentially committed that copyright.
Yeah, the thing is what is common knowledge?
Okay.
So if you say I want to program something like a new office suit, it is you find it on at the market. There's open source running around there. So what is intellectual property? This would be something we have to discuss about. Is there any intellectual property, or are we developed as human beings so far that we say we share our knowledge, everybody shares it with everybody, and those who live from patenting and doing all the licensing, they should find a new business model.
Interesting. I think, like, I can see where it come from, especially like I said, to the gray area element. Is There's definitely going to be a long time before it catches up. I definitely think like some people, especially at scale, have concern over that catching up eventually. But maybe the argument is statute of limitations at that stage, right? Like I don't see this being fully policed in the next 20 years. Even it feels almost impossible. We'll bring in some more questions from the chat. So
Yeah,
Maria says, "Thank you for such a mind-blowing presentation.
thank
How
you.
can we use ChatGPT to analyze our competition on Instagram or TikTok and different social media platforms? For example, is this possible to get the list of best performing competitors organically, get the links to their top performing posts and videos, get an analysis of their target audience and offers?"
Exactly. Normally, we use some tools like Hootsuite or something like that for our marketing. Now you can use ChatGPT for that. So what you can do is you can just prompt him and say, please follow this Facebook channel, this Instagram channel, and now let me know what are their five most liked posts or most effective posts, and then you have access to it. The interesting part is that even if it is behind uh, a login normally, ChatGPT has ways to find out the statistics, just like Hootsuite can do that. So it is
And
it will change the way we do our competitor analysis. So
okay.
you could even get the keywords out of the website for from with ChatGPT from your competition.
And to that kind of idea, all this information that you're entering, Natalia has an interesting point around policies. You know, does ChatGPT track your conversations? Does it store that information? And does it use it to analyze the future?
It is a learning system, never forget
Yeah.
that. So the more input it is getting now from human beings, the better it is going to become. That's why with every input you give in, it is learning. That's why normally you also see a like or a dislike button on the chat gpt answer, and you can say this was good or this was not so good to improve chat gpt. So at the moment it is looking at data. The next step is it will be looking at data entered by human beings
Mm.
and learn from there which answers were good and which answers were not good. So it is basically tracking everything we are doing.
I guess an interesting thought from that, right, is the idea of the human feedback. There is a trolling element, right? There is the element of griefing. I wonder if these services have kind of a secondary layer to the AI where it's able to track toxic behavior, if you will, right? Like the classic is it used to be in the olden days. I say in the olden days because it always gets fixed so quickly now. Someone will go on Wikipedia and they just type in whatever, and it's like yeah, Coca-Cola started out as like a drug manufacturer. It's like, oh, that's not correct, but that would stay up for a week or a month. I guess the point there is, you know, is there a requirement to have that secondary layer to ensure that what you're putting out as an AI provider is accurate and true?
Exactly. The problem is what is truth, and then the
Yeah.
yeah. So the main thing all these technologies are doing is they are bringing us back to our roots,
Mm,
so that we start rethinking where do we as mankind want to develop each other. How do we want to develop in the future? Should we allow these technologies to come and maybe we'll have to change our jobs and job descriptions? Or are we going to stop somewhere and say, enough is enough? But that's not going to happen because once the technology is there, that's the experience. You know, my grandparents told me the telephone is very bad. My parents said internet is very bad. And now we tell the children, oh, artificial intelligence is bad. And what happened? Everything is there in mass availability. So
I
we
think the
have to, yeah, please.
I was gonna say I think the problem there is like the cat's already out of the bag in that regard,
Yeah.
right? Like there's a lot of paranoia. Or what if Skynet kind of comes? Like I know Elon's not very popular right now, but one kind of interesting thing he had to say was this whole idea of there was meant to be these kind of safeguards potentially set up around AI years ago. Now he's just like looking for a way to kind of prep for any sort of evolution of the product, right? Because we've already let it loose. Like we can try to put restraints, but the problem is we're going to become, as you said, more reliant on it, especially when you're in an ever evolving world that requires you to be more competitive.
Exactly. And the thing is, the speed is now important. The speed of changing your business model, adapting to it. So I have some customers, and we just said, okay, let's let the company run. We'll start a new company, a startup, and develop everything from scratch with the power of artificial intelligence. And that's going to happen with virtual reality, with the metaverse, which is now at the moment totally lost somewhere. But imagine you're creating avatars now with Midjourney and Doll-E, how easy it has become. And before ChatGPT or before this AI, creating an avatar on metaverse was difficult stuff. So
Yeah.
these things will be converging into one.
Hmm.
And for this, and it is a worldwide thing, to have local laws will not be applicable. You,
Yeah, we've already seen that issue around the internet for the
yeah,
last X amount of years, and it's
if
still.
things don't work in Europe, just go to Zimbabwe and get a server there, and things are running online. Okay.
Yeah. I think another interesting thought is, with this AI being so easily accessible, you talked about from a advertising and marketing standpoint, right? Let's say I'm going to go and I'm going to go sponsor a show or like a YouTube broadcast, right? And someone can technically even more easily create bots to kind of like pump through those views. I guess an interesting thought is like as time goes on, and that's ideas as a factor, we could end up in a weird environment where the AI polices the AI, because you already mentioned about tools for identifying whether someone had used AI to hand in the homework, right?
Exactly. So there is a company in Singapore who already has the first CMO that is an AI.
Okay.
And we're already thinking about in companies, what about if the CEO is an AI? What about if the teacher in the school is an AI? If you would be sued in front of the court, would you like to have a human lawyer or an AI lawyer?
So there's already people trying to do that. I've heard stories of people trying to have AI representation. I think even in America,
Yeah,
um,
of course.
that's obviously an area where it's a little bit easier to restrict, right? Like that's where the digital realm gets too physical, and those kind of local laws we talked about can refrain. But there's definitely in the online environment. I think the best way to kind of summarize what we're heading towards is a gray zone, right? Like we already said, it's that there are a bunch of things that are morally questionable, especially around the idea of copyright and ownership. But the point you're making is your competitors are going to be using it, and ramifications. I mean, it almost feels very kind of like irresponsible to say, but they are so far down the line that it's questionable whether you'll even be alive to see any sort of potential punishment for copyright and misuse.
They'll have to prove it. Now fight
Yeah.
your war against an AI.
War and AI in the same sentence, Sanjay, is a dangerous thing to say.
Yeah, but imagine how much power you would need to perform a lawsuit case.
Yeah,
Unimaginable. So for me, to sum up everything is be ready for the never normal world. Nothing will stay as it was. Everything is going to change. And it started with COVID, and now we are in AI, and be ready for the next big thing to come. I can't tell you what it will be, but I'm sure that at this digital marketing conference, when the next big thing comes, I hope I'll be here again.
fingers crossed. I think that's a great place to end it. The notion, I think the takeaway from the last 2 days, someone that's kind of been on repeat is be flexible, right? I think
Mhm.
that's the takeaway note. As I've heard time and time again, we don't know where this is going, but there's no brakes on the train, really, is the best way to kind of look at it. But treat that as a positive, right? Not a negative of, oh my God, I can't stop this thing. Well,
Absolutely true.
I think what we'll do there is we'll round it out. Sanjay, it has been an absolute pleasure to talk to you. I know there was one or two extra questions that came through, but I don't want to burn through too much of Sanjay's time. If you guys do want to reach out to him, he did provide a means. Hold on a sec, I can bring that back up. So I believe it was, there you go. So
Yeah.
MC 2023 at Sauldie.com. Contact him there. I'm sure he'll be more than happy to deep dive into all of this and dissect it further for you. But what I'll do now, Sanjay, is I'll say thank you very much, and I'll let you get the rest of your day together. Maybe I don't know. Maybe you got some plans of making AI do some crafty things in the background.
I'm just waiting till AI can start cooking. That would be.
Oh, there you go. Just like link it up and do a little robot. Keep it away from the sharp knives, though. After everything you said.
Certainly, I will. Thank you so much. Thank you for moderating everything. It was great to be with you.
Yeah, absolute star. We'll catch up soon.
Yeah.
Okay, so that brings us to a close. That's right. That's all we've got, I'm afraid, folks. Hopefully, you have learned something new. Hopefully, there's plenty for you to take away. I think to echo that sentiment, we are in an unknown time. I think we heard earlier today how things are only going to get faster, not slower. And really, the best thing that I can advise you is remain dynamic, remain flexible in whatever you do. But I'm not going to be too flexible. What I'm going to say next is going to be the big thank yous. It's what we should be saying, not just to our speakers and my fellow hosts, but also to all the people working tirelessly behind the scene to make this marketing conference a possibility. That's right. Digital Marketing Europe can't come together without the efforts of everyone behind the scenes, and they are the unsung heroes in conjunction with all you folks at home who, without you watching, we couldn't, of course, put these together. Now, hopefully we'll see you next time. Hopefully you got a shot at getting one of those ebooks. I told you to definitely rate the sessions and comment to be in with a shot. And hopefully we'll see you next time. But for now, I must say farewell. And hopefully we'll see each other again very soon.
This is all we got. Remember the revolution in our minds. This is all we got.
Lock me out of this life institution. I am angry and high on illusions. Yes, I hate, but it's not a solution. Try my best, but I'm just a human. Oh, we don't need to say we're sorry. We don't need to worship ever stars. We don't